love this. You look so cool.
Thank you.
Thank you for hosting.
Oh,
I
man.
got sick, and you came in and hosted for me, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I am available all flu season.
Oh my God. I didn't know what was wrong with me. It was the flu. It was bad.
Happy to step. The only thing I couldn't do, I thought about doing karaoke.
You should have done it.
There's no comparison.
Missed opportunity.
Well, in the future, perhaps.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. But let's talk about industry. What's it about? For everybody that hasn't seen it yet, you're coming in on it.
I am. I'm coming in for Little Ark in season 4. The show is this really racy, super well-written drama about the London finance industry.
Just
so
scary,
banking.
They're crazy.
They are insane. I had no idea what that world was like, and I was a fan of this show before I had the chance to do it. But it's a wild world to step into. Do
you like playing a tool? Like, do you like? Yeah. Kind of fun.
I am. What's the thing people tell you from the time you're a kid? Like, oh, you're too nice, right? I'm like, bring me a role like I'm playing in industry. Make me a not great human. Because it's so much more fun.
Exactly. Do you have any friends in finance or anybody that kind of helped you out with the role of like that world and like really nailing that?
You know, the guys who created the show, Mickey and Conrad, used to be bankers before they were screenwriters, and so they were just this encyclopedia of information. And it's one of those shows where any of the jargon that you're saying it. Obviously, you're the actor saying it, so you have to understand everything that it means. But there's always a layer, at least 1 or 2 deep, of what you're actually trying to say, like the human relationships between things. So you got to learn that, and then you have to learn kind of the human relationship stuff.
Oh man, I know. So we'll talk about your character. Like, who is he? Tell everybody.
So I play a guy named Jonah Atterbury. He's CEO and co-founder of a fintech firm with Whitney, who is Max Minghell's character. Max is incredible, and he's not. I don't want to say he's like the good guy, bad guy, because the show is so well written that there are 10 layers underneath whether somebody is like good or bad.
That's what's
which is what makes it human, right? So he lives somewhere in that space. He's not the kindest guy. I wouldn't want him to date somebody I knew. That's a good judge. I would not introduce him to friends. But that's what made him so fun to play. And the relationship between Jonah and Whitney is kind of what drives that first episode.
It's crazy. All the drugs. I didn't know that world.
Oh, dude,
I had no idea.
Let me tell you this. I get the offer I was a fan for the first 3 seasons. My agent calls and goes, "There's a chance for a little arc on season 4 of Industry," and I said yes. They're like, no, read the script first. I was like, well, I mean, it's a yes. I love the show. Like, read the script first. Like, oh, right. What if I have to take my clothes off?
Oh.
There's so much nudity in this show.
Or what if you get to take your clothes off?
So then, I like the way you're thinking, okay?
Turn that around, my man.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm reading this episode, loving the character they're pitching me. Get to the end of the episode, I'm like, why don't I get to take my clothes off? What is wrong with me that I, too, don't get to? I can get into really good shape in 3 months.
Wants this.
So that was the thought process. I was like, just do the thing. It's really well written.
I guess I don't think about that because I'm not an actor, but like, there has to be things you have to do for roles sometimes. You're like, this is out of my comfort zone. That's uncomfortable. That would be all the like making out with different people. That is a hard no for me.
There is.
Do you know where people's mouths have been? Like what people got going on? I don't know what's going on there. Your character is like very business savvy. Are you like that in real life?
Not only am I not like that in real life at all, like I'm just terrible at math.
Me too.
I'm interested in it. You know, I think it's a fascinating world. I know nothing about it. Also, I love that y'all cut the clip off right before all the profanity that is in that scene. Like, there's a wave of words that I didn't even know existed before we shot the scene.
You know why? Is I say so many. We're only allowed so many. So to cut yours off. They cut you off. They're like, we know her, so we're gonna have to cut yours off. I'm so sorry, America. Trying to keep it classy. I find this incredible. Your new, I hate math too, and I'm not even gonna try to like it. But your new podcast explores history, like world history. I find it incredible. I have so many friends from different walks of life, different areas of work, like everything. And they all love you. Like you're that guy that everybody kind of loves. It's weird to get somebody to say that to you and be like, yes, I am. But you are that guy. So I found it so shocking this is your first podcast. You surely you've been approached before.
I've been approached before, and I like listening to things, especially interesting conversations. But as time went on, I just sort of thought like, do you really want to be the 1,000th actor with a podcast? Like, you have to have an angle.
If you're cool and good at it.
And also the things that I like, there are already podcasts for, right? So you don't want to like replicate something. And so, so this came around, and Ed Helms' company reached out to me, and we started talking about what a podcast that looks at pop culture and history could be. Like, does that interest you? I'm like, yeah, it interests me, because if you can look at the past, present, and future of something without having all the baggage of, well, what's somebody's political affiliation and what do they actually believe? And it should inform you, so that at the end of an episode about something, you actually feel like you know more. I'll give you an example. Like, our first episode was Bill Nye. He was my guest.
Bill Nye, the science guy.
Everybody loves Bill Nye.
I love Bill Nye. Yeah.
Bill Nye, right? Bill Nye is. I'm an astronomy nerd, and Bill, runs.
Yeah.
He runs space.
He runs space.
Bill Nye runs space.
Congratulations on that, sir.
So I said, can we have a conversation about the space race and how that, how it's different now than it was in the 80s?
Yeah.
And so he basically walked me through, in the 80s, it was because the US and the Soviet Union were competing against each other.
Governments, yeah.
Right, governments. And now there's this space race between billionaires.
Privatized,
right?
yeah.
Totally privatized.
Yeah.
Some of that was on purpose, where government invests in the hopes that it goes private.
Yeah.
And then others were things that we just couldn't necessarily predict. And so talking to him for an hour, I at least felt like at the end of that, I understood the space race a lot better.
Yeah.
And so each of our episodes is designed with an idea like that in mind. Some of them are super silly, by the way, and then others have a lot more gravity to them.
I think it's fascinating, like how people's mind, like I'm a creative person working in a different way. I think it's amazing how people's minds, like what they're capable of, and surrounding themselves with the right people, and like what they're gonna achieve. Like for the human race, it's such a huge thing. Like, I find that interesting.
Would you go up in space if they gave you a seat?
If I did not have kids, I would.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have kids, so I would do it.
I have kids. Yeah. So I wouldn't do that. But if I before kids, for sure. They would have told me, and I had no qualifications and no experience, and just jumped on. So we know you love politics. Is it true? This is a crazy story. You've known the new mayor here, but in a really random way.
In a totally random way.
Yeah. Tell everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So back in the day, I really wanted to audition for this movie called The Namesake that a director named Mira Nair was doing. And I knew her work from the time that I was a kid, especially because of this movie she did called Mississippi Masala, one of Denzel Washington's first movies. I remember seeing it as a kid, and sort of like what you were saying, this was the first time that I saw people who looked like us on screen. And I'm like, oh, well, if this woman can do this as a career, maybe I actually can follow this passion for the arts that I have.
Inspired you,
So it was one of the 10 things that's in your head as a kid. So, cut to like 20 years later, she's casting this movie called The Namesake. I had read the book that it's based on. I really wanted to audition. My agent could not get me in, no matter what. And so I wrote her a letter, and I said, look, you're one of the inspirations for why I decided to become an actor. You have to let me audition for this movie. And she calls my agent. I fly to New York. I was living in LA at the time. I walk in, and she goes, just so you know, biggest reason you're here is that my 14-year-old son, Zohran, is a huge fan of Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
I know where it's going,
And he told me I should audition you like 4 months ago, and he and his best friend Sam showed me clips from that stoner movie, and it just showed me that you were the wrong choice for my independent drama. But here we are. So
here we are.
Here's the script and audition.
This is amazing.
This is me, Zohran, and Sam. And so, but that gave me the opportunity to then audition and earn the part. And so we've been friends since then. So I'm the most biased person you could ask. Like, it's unfair to ask me a political question about him just because of how we met. But I'm really proud of him, and I think we all wish him the best.
I think it's crazy too to know someone that age and then all of a sudden that's insane.
Yeah.